everybody, I'm Heidi Troll with Grits and Groceries Restaurant.
And I'm Brandon Grace with the Wine Emporium.
And we're here to get you started with your first sharing and pairing package, wine and food that you can share with all your friends.
Let's get started.
All right, let's go.
All right. So here we are. We're getting ready for the guests to come.
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and grab the rosé out of the refrigerator, let it warm up a little bit, and I'll open up the bottles of wine. Why don't you get the food set up, Heidi?
Sure. So when you're doing this, you can make it as formal or as casual as you like. You can leave it in the containers that we send it in that are ready to go, or you can set up a nice presentation. It's really up to you.
We're here with the first course for the pairing and sharing dinner. What have you got to plate it up for us, Heidi?
Well, we've got our famous pimento cheese and spiced pecans that come out of our yard.
Oh, wow.
I pick them all up. Joe gets them shelled, and then we butter them and spice them and toast them. So they can't get any more farm to fork than that. And then our saltine crackers that have been brushed with butter and our spices. And it's absolutely delicious. But let me tell you a little history about pimento cheese that's gonna rock the world.
You know I love trivia.
Everyone thinks that it's Southern, but it actually started in New York. So being the person I am, I'm just eliminating that history and saying that we invented it, because we do call it the pate of the South. So this is a cheddar Monterey Jack, a little grated Vidalia onion, and the pimentos.
Looks delicious.
It is. Now, what are you going to pair with it, Brandon?
Well, you know, when you have that amount of fat and those little bit of spices, yeah, I know.
Okay.
I don't want to make anybody guilty, but you want to make sure you have a wine with a nice acidity to sort of cut through that and to match with it. And today we're doing the Domaine Busquet Rosé from Argentina. And this is a 2020 vintage because the Southern Hemisphere gets to release their vintage first. So this is probably the first 2020 that people are drinking. But this rosé is going to, that nice acidity is going to pair well with the cheese. And one of the things you want to pay attention to is spiciness. Will sometimes reduce the acidity in the wine, and it'll just leave the fruit flavors. So when you get into this is made from 100% Malbec, which has a nice round fruit to it. When you get into eating this and drinking this, you'll see that the acidity will slip away just a little bit, and you'll be left with the fruit flavors. It's really nice, a really great pairing.
Now, here's a question I always have.
Okay.
Do we taste and then drink, or do we drink and then taste?
I think you should drink a little bit first just to get like a baseline. And then you eat, and then drink some more.
Well, cheers then.
Cheers then. Let's drink up first.
That's delicious. All right. For me, it's always amazing how much a wine tastes once you add food to it. There's some wines I think I don't like, and then I have them with food, and how totally different it is.
We'll see how it does here.
Oh no, about the whole thing.
You're that person, it's okay.
Sorry.
Takes just a little bit of the bite out of the acidity. And
That's
leaves you with
really
like
delicious.
those strawberry flavors. It goes great with the cheese.
And a spiced pecan. Let's see. They taste like they came from my house.
They do.
Well, you know, pecans are my therapy. Picking them up, cracking them, taking care of them. That's really my therapy in life.
Well, if you're in the restaurant industry, you're definitely used to handling nuts.
Yeah, that's true. I spend a lot of time. Well, this is a perfect combination.
Cheers.
So our next dish in our tasting will be our smoked beef tenderloin, and it's served with our herb mayonnaise and our pickled onions. And then we are sending some yeast rolls to go with it. Absolutely delicious. And what'd you pair with it, Brandon?
Well, so we're going to Washington State for this wine. This is the locations, Washington State. This was a series of wines made to reflect the best expression of the grapes from separate locations around the globe.
I love an expressive grape.
Expressive grape, exactly. So this one is Washington State, and people think Merlot and Riesling in Washington State, but this is Syrah based.
I love a Syrah
And
too.
Syrah, which comes from the Rhone River Valley of France, has a nice savory quality to go along with the fruit that goes so well with the smoked meat and the pickled onions. Yeah, cheers. Let's give it a shot.
I cheated.
Here.
I drank first. That's really nice. Okay, we'll try it with this.
Let's dive into these delicious sandwiches here. The smokiness is really coming through.
It is.
That should go well with the Syrah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That is delicious together. You did a great job picking something to pair with
Well,
that.
it's easy to pair with your food, to be completely
Oh,
honest.
thank you.
All right, we're ready for course number 3.
That's right, and this is my favorite. You know, this is why I married a pastry chef, because I love dessert.
There we go.
So this is a red velvet cake with a white chocolate glaze. And let me tell you how I got this recipe.
Okay.
At my restaurant in New Orleans, one day a lady walked in and she handed me a recipe. And she said, I just quit my job and I don't want them to have this recipe. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. And it turns out to be the best red velvet cake you've ever eaten. So...
we might have to check with our legal department, make sure we can mention that on this video.
well, I'm not mentioning their name, just the cake.
Well, and so I've paired, when you're pairing sweet foods with wine, you want to make sure that you get a wine that can match well with that. In this case, I went with a Zinfandel. And just like you think of strawberries or cherries and how well they go with chocolate, the same thing's going on here. You get these rich flavors of the red velvet cake with the berry flavors in this Zinfandel, and they just go really well together. So let's taste the
Smells
wine
delicious.
first before we, dive into the cake, even though I want to dive into the cake like right now.
That is good.
And this is
one of my favorites.
Saldo from the Prisoner Wine Company. So people are familiar with their wines. This is actually, I think, one of their best. It's really enjoyable. So
I'm making sure I get frosting in my bite.
yeah, no, you have to get frosting.
I only eat the frosting part and I throw the rest of the cake away. It's really moist. It's not white chocolate. All right. Now let's try it with our wine.
See?
That's really great together.
Yeah, you just have to have a wine that has enough fruit and just a hint of sweetness in it to match with the dessert. And when you do that, you're gonna always be happy.
I like that because a lot of people try to put a sweet wine with dessert, and I think it overpowers dessert.
Yeah, and that can work. You just have to, sort of make sure you're putting things together. I also like sparkling with dessert from time to time, but this is how you want it to be right here.
It's perfect.
Well, cheers! I really enjoyed doing
Great.
this
This
with
will
you.
be fun.
Yeah, Pep.
So we hope you enjoyed your wine package and hope to see you every month. This is going to become, you can order one at a time or a subscription. You can order it through gritsandgroceries.com or
WineEmporiumSC.com.
either way, you're going to be happy.
That's right. Get together with your friends every month with some wonderful wine and some wonderful food from Grits and Groceries and Wine Emporium.
Thank you.
See you soon.